What's going on, the Dynasty? NBA Fantasy Basketball. I'd like to welcome you guys to your first edition of the Fantasy Flex weekly show we like to run, you know what I'm saying, throughout the leagues. Switching up the format for the basketball editions. So basically we'll go like this. We'll go into matchups, previews, and then standings. We'll save that for last because with the standings I'll do the league leaders as well. It's only been a week and a half. Long season. So let's get up into it. Fantasy Flex Week 1. And here we go. First matchup of the week we had last week was the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the New York Knicks. The Knicks taking that matchup 8-6. Big ups to Chris DeBarry. The Aussie abroad is doing it big. I came behind and took that matchup out in the end, but I mean he killed me in points for like 200 points. Next matchup of the week you got over here, or from last week, was the Magic taking on the Hawks. The Hawks, as we all know, just lost last night, 7-1, but or 6-1, whatever. But yo, in fantasy they doing their thing. Scoring that one 10-4. The Orlando Magic looking to rebound next week. We'll take a look at that preview in a little bit. Next matchup, you had the Golden State Warriors taking on the San Antonio Spurs. That wound up being, it says here, a tie, but matchup there went 7-7. And we'll just jump into the next matchup because I'll see what the standings say later on in the show. Next matchup had the Chicago Bulls going up against the Celtics. Score on that matchup was 10-4. The Celtics taking 10 major categories. And in our final matchup of last week's matchups, or week 1's matchups, put the Dallas Mavericks up against the Portland Trail Blazers. That also wound up being a scoring tie. So let's see what happens here because it says the Blazers got the win. Like in the other one, they gave somebody a win. So let's see what's going on with that. However, we move on to a preview of week 2, or currently underway right now. Just check your standings tabs or your scoreboard tabs later on in the night after 7:30. You know how it goes. This week you got the 0-1 Knicks, or excuse me, the 1-0 Knicks taking on the 0-1 Bulls, followed by the Golden State Warriors, who are 0-1 taking on the also 0-1 Magic. So both teams looking to rebound after taking losses in the first week. Then over here it shows we got the Lakers taking on the Mavericks. Both of those teams are showing that they're 0-1 as well, so they both looking to rebound. And then you got 2 unbeaten so far, both at 1-0. The San Antonio Spurs looking on to take out the Portland Trail Blazers. And that was the preview for week 2. Now let's get into the standings, because I'm sure that's what the questions are coming into right now. Haven't really figured it out, but let's see, because it did say there was 2 ties last week. Don't know what was the deciding factor. However, in the East, for the Dynasty League, you got the Hawks at 1-0, tied up with the Celtics and the Knicks, all 1-0. And then you got the Bulls and the Magic with 0-1 records at the bottom of that division right now. Still early, so that could get turned around real quick. And then in the West right now, you got 2 teams tied up for first place, which would be the Spurs and the Trailblazers, followed by the Mavericks, Warriors, and the Lakers, who are all 0-1 in the division, so they're looking to turn it around this week as well. And let's get up into the league leaders as of week 1. Field goals made, that's going to the Celtics. He had 639 on the week. He's 9 up on the next team, which would be the Lakers. Field goal percentage, the Lakers have that right now with a high 49%. They're just ahead of the Atlanta Falcons, or excuse me, Atlanta Hawks, with a 47%. Free throws made, that's going right now to the Celtics as well. A lot of free throws made, 352. Over 20 ahead the next team, which would be myself, the Knicks. Free throw percentage is going to the Golden State Warriors, however, who have an 81% field goal percentage or free throw percentage on the year. The Blazers are behind him with a high 79%. 3-pointers made, that's going to the Lakers with 107. Trailing behind him by 5 would be the New York Knicks with 102 on 3-pointers made. 3-point percentage, that is going to the Mavericks, who are just edging out the Hawks. Both have a 39%, but by percentage points, he's got 9/10 of an extra percentage, so the Mavericks take that category right now. Offensive rebounds with 190, it's going to the Hawks. well over 25 against the next team, which would be me, the Knicks. Rebounding, that's going to the Hawks as well with 690. Next team behind him would be the Celtics, who have 648, so they got some ground to pick up on if they want to get up on that category. Assists are also going to the Celtics. I mean, that's big. I mean, who couldn't figure that out with the shit that Rajon Rondo did the past couple days? However, behind them would be the Trailblazers with 378, so they're still creeping in up. Yes, the assist category. Steals, that's going to the Celtics as well. 142 steals on the year. Over 26 up against the next team, which would be the Trailblazers, who have 126. Blocks, the Knicks right now have that with 78. Next team behind them will be the Hawks, who are only down by 1, so that could change in a week's time. We'll see what happens when we check in next week. Turnovers, that is going with 131 turnovers to the Chicago Bulls. Best non-turnovers, whoever has the worst right now would be with 261, the Boston Celtics. So with the assists comes the turnovers, obviously. Then you got the personal fouls. Teams with the least amount of personal fouls right now would be the Bulls as well with 185. Most personal fouls with 308 would be going to the Atlanta Hawks. And in overall points altogether, with 1,725 points, the Celtics are taking that category. Behind them would be the Los Angeles Lakers with 1,667. And that is the league leaders. That has been the Fantasy Flex. I work on it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for making moves, keeping it active, doing what we do. And this is Flex. Flex out. See y'all next week for the Week 2 edition.